communicators these days to communicate with videos. So feel free to post questions, and I'm going to share my screen so you can watch us using Explain Everything.
And 1, 2, 3, we're live.
Okay, we're live on YouTube, explaining how to do explainer videos with Explain Everything. So I hope you can now see my screen, and I'll just make sure that you can observe also what I'm tapping. So in the settings, I'll make sure that my taps and gestures leave a trace. So you see those circles on top of the screen? These are my taps. So you basically can follow my moves when I explain and answer questions from you. So you can repeat that if you have your iPad, Android, or web version of Explain Everything.
Or Chromebook. Yep.
Or Chromebook, yeah. All right, so let's begin with, with a short dive into what Explain Everything is. This slide is, it's correct, but it's full of content. Let me just say that with Explain Everything, you can explain everything. We have a breadcrumbs in the name of the product. But what it actually means, we can try to simplify this and show you the process of recording with a very simple visual here. So I'm on a slide number 2, and I have this box we sometimes call Explain Everything a magic box, where you can put everything in, right? So let me show you how recording works for those that are not familiar with the tools. You see this button on the bottom of the screen. That's the recording button. So I'm going to press it now. In this video, because we're recording the video now, we're going to explain everything recording features and why we think sometimes about Explain Everything as a magic box. So I stop my recording, and you immediately see that on the bottom of the screen, you have this thing here, we call it timeline, where I can scroll back and see that I moved this object on the screen. And at some point of time, I drew this logo here, right? And you see the waveform. That was me explaining what we're going to do. I can play it back. Explain Everything recording features and why. That's how it basically works. You can manipulate objects on the screen and record the process of you doing so. So Explain Everything can play it back, or you can share this as a clip.
Yep. So that there are multiple ways you can then later on interact with this. We're gonna cover this later. So this is the basic of Explain Everything recording. Bart pressed the record button, started talking, and then drew something, then he moved something, and it's all in the timeline, as you can see in the top and the bottom tracks of the timeline. The top track shows you the actions that you've performed during the recording, and the bottom has the waveform, which means the voice was recorded. So that's how we divide those two. If you are familiar with any other video editing software, it kind of looks familiar. So and if not, it very clearly shows how things have happened during the recording.
I guess the new element too, if you're familiar with video editors, the new element is that you're basically, providing input as you go on a whiteboard, and it's independent of the content. You can use any content. This tool will remember what you did on a canvas and will just play it back. It's like a digital parrot of some kind.
Yeah.
But it gets so much better than that, because you can dive further and use this functionality in various examples, in various scenarios, I should say. So let me extend this video. I'll again press record and explain how actually you can explain things using this tool. So bear with me. We'll press record. explain everything, sometimes we call a magic box because you can put so much into it. You can explain, let's say, bookkeeping or reports of any kind. You can explain, waveforms and logic behind that. You can explain technology adoption curve by drawing those things and put it into the box as well. So it can contain a lot. And everything you put onto the canvas, into the box of Explain Everything, you can share so others understand you as well. And you can do it over a distance, crossing the boundaries of time, I should say, and distance by sharing whiteboard videos. And that's something we'll cover today. But you can also try to use Explain Everything during a lecture. And by this, replace physical board with digital whiteboard. That would be one-way whiteboarding. We call it that way because it would be you sharing to others using this device, this software as a screen. Or if you need confirmation from others that they understood what you're trying to share with them, you can turn this into a collaborative whiteboard and have others working with you on the canvas. You showing them, they, confirming that they understood what you're sharing with them. And if I press stop, everything I did, every one of those three scenarios that I explained is actually captured on this video. So if you would want to, let's say I want to share this as a video, I can do this with 2 taps like this. Pretty easy, huh?
Yeah. I hesitated for a second because I wanted to, see if everything's all right. But yeah, right now you can see the Bart selected the share option and then created a web video link. So right now, this whole package that he talked about is getting put together, and it's flying to the cloud where it's gonna get turned into a video. So right now, as it completes, you can now share the video. As you can see on the model on the window, there's an estimated waiting time 1 minute or less since it's a short video. Explain Everything needs some time to convert the video in the cloud so that it's ready for viewing. So you'll know when you get to the link. And now Bart can share the link to his video.
Well, I'll share this with you, so maybe
Okay.
you can share the link further with our audience.
Sure.
Just don't pay too much attention to the contents of the video. We were just explaining this just in time. It's a quick version of the video. For publishing, I would perhaps spend some more time polishing the end result. But this is just a simple and quick illustration of what you can do with Explain Everything. And now, back to Q&A. Now you have the picture of what Explain Everything can do for you, and we're happy to answer questions that you sent to us before session when signing up. There was this form that you could use, or during the session, as this session is provided live. And as you see, we're using Explain Everything to explain this tool to you. So I have few questions on my canvas that we would love to address because those are good ones. So Cooper, let me know which one is your favorite. I have like 6 questions here that I picked up from the registrants form.
Oh, so let's start with your favorite ones while I get the questions from the audience, because there are some already. But since we are here, Sandra says, I always have trouble deleting and editing my video as I am making it. Editing in my recording and adding layering. I tried to make a pencil writing and the pencil was not properly layered. So,
oh, interesting.
So if you have any sorts of problems with that, something is not working as you would expect, you can reach out to us and we'll take a look. If it's a bug, then we'll fix it. We'd love to learn about those. So please let us know, but we'll show you. For those of you who don't know, who haven't seen it yet or haven't tried it, you will see how to edit your videos. We can get back to what Bart recorded, and add some more stuff to it. So that's where recording modes can come in.
Sure. Maybe let's show the layering for you, because this is something that I quite often hear is a bit complicated to understand. Yet I think it's quite easy. Once we demonstrate this, you'll get it in no time. So let me show you. I'll create just 2 squares. This will give, and this will be first one, and that's another one. So that's number 1. And I want this object to be at the back, so I can use inspector. I'm using inspector tool to send it to either the front or to back. So this one is in front of this object. Let's say that's object number 2. So I can do my recording using those objects. So you see the hierarchy. The 2 is in front of object number 1. But in the recording, when I play it back, of course, the hierarchy will be sustained. Here, I can take the object number 1 with inspector and bring it to the front. And as you see, it will be reflected in the video, right? So it's not visible on the timeline that I changed the hierarchy of the object, yet Explain Everything remembers that you brought an object to the front. So that's the good thing to remember. All right, so let's jump into those questions that we have here on the canvas, and maybe let's pick this first one here. So here's the question. I'm a high school math teacher, and I'm hoping to see if Explain Everything is suitable for recording lessons and live instructions. Yes, it is. Although, what I would suggest is to pay attention to the difference in, let's say, Zoom recording or YouTube recording, where we're broadcasting this through Zoom and through YouTube, and there's a recording of what we're doing, and Explain Everything recording. Explain Everything differs in a way that it captures your actions on the canvas, so you can reverse, change this, edit, whatever you need. So for example, this recording that I did at the very beginning, if I don't like a piece of this, let's say this camera movement, I don't like this camera movement, I can remove it and redo it again. Let's say I want a longer camera movement, so I'll do it just now. Into a collaborative one. Okay, that's a different camera movement that I just, used to replace the previous one. So this type of recording can be used for lectures. You can do this, although if you're, let's say, broadcasting your whiteboard through Zoom, you can use Zoom's recording, although then you're limited in options of editing the result. We sometimes see that teachers like to record their own lectures to reuse later and perhaps repurpose content on the canvas a little bit. So that's possible. But for lectures, you might also use a recording that you have with your conferencing solution. Okay, so I hope that's a good answer to this question here. And if not, let us know so we can dive deeper into those elements. And I guess this second question here is somehow connected with the first one.
Right, because there are so many questions about like editing recordings in Explain Everything. So there are, very, very specific things that you might want to do. We're going to pick some from those you've posted here. I'll get to your question later, Chris, because it's a very specific one. So first question is, can you separate the 2 timelines so that you can keep the designing part, because it's fine, but record over the voice part? So like do another voice take.
You can, yes. All right, so let's demonstrate that. I'll unmute my microphone. This is take number 1 that we do. Okay, now I can scroll back and do a take number 2 of, let's say, adding additional writing on top of that canvas, but without changing audio track. So for that, I would need to mute my microphone here. I'll take a different color. I'll start recording again and see what happens. This is take number 1 that we do. I did another take, and explain everything kind of like intertwined both, because it played what was captured before and allowed me to add new elements to the canvas. That's why I wrote take number 2. And let's say now I want to do a rerun and record audio, because it's actually take number 1 and 2. So I'll press here, delete audio track. You see, it's gone. Now I will unmute my microphone and record just audio. So hands off. This is take, well, it's a combined take number 1 and 2. So as you see, at this attempt, I changed audio. I'll play it back. This is take, well, it's a combined take number 1 and 2.
Right. So could you do the editing again, please? The removal, because that's how you press and hold on the clip that you want to remove.
Exactly.
Right. So it gets grayed out. You will see that it's grayed out, and the menu will appear over the playhead. The playhead is the red line that just marks the current time. Right. So,
and there's an interesting thing, because sometimes timeline is really cluttered with content. So then you can pinch to zoom or change the order of those elements. So for example, here, at this precise moment, I wrote with both colors. So I can tap those and switch to back and front, selecting which element I don't like and wants to remove. Let's say this one. That's how you can do it.
Yes. So for web version users, I'll just make sure, how do you turn on the, because I think I forgot the shortcut. Let me just check really quick.
And what's the question?
On the web version. No. I just want to, for those who are on the web version, and they open the timeline. If you want to delete a single clip, you need to use the options from the top of the timeline. So you need to select it and then delete it. If I understand correctly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a different interface. It's a
right, but because you see those icons on the top of the timeline, you can use them as well instead of pressing and holding on the clip.
You mean these? Here.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
there are, yeah. So we'll dive deeper into that right now, because the next question is, can you slowly show us how to pick and remove sections and recording? So that's
okay.
where it comes, where those options come in.
All right. So let's say I'm not happy with this part, right? I'm not going to remove a single object that you see here on the timeline, because it might be that I want to remove section of the recording. And for that, I would need to select which part of the recording I want to remove. So let's say I'll start here. Here's the tool I'm going to use for selection. And here, that's what I need to remove. And with one button, that's this bucket here, I can remove this part. You see? There's an empty space, and 2 will not appear because it was included in this selection of mine that I removed. So now I can re-record over that and provide 2, let's say in a different color. I'll use red now. So here we go, record. Just like that. Now you'll notice that my mic was on, and therefore I have a new audio track. Right? It is here. That's okay. I can always remove that. So that's one option of doing it. But there are other options. So maybe not to make it too complicated, I'll show you one more. So let's say that on the beginning of this clip, there's this pause. There's nothing, no activity for, let's say, 1 second. It's short enough, but let's say for the sake of this demonstration that I want to remove this. So my voice and this action on the canvas starts instantly. So what I can do is I can use the selection one more time, but instead of deleting this part so it stays empty, I can delete and compact it. And by this, the recording will start the recording will start from this end of this selection of mine. So for this, I'll use this tool right here. This is take, well, it's a combine. And now you see my video, my screencast starts from this very moment. This is take, well, it's a combined take number 1. Oh, there was this removed part when I say, and number 2. So maybe I want to still do that. So we'll remove this audio. And the number 2. 1 and the number 2. Awesome. That's how easy it is.
Yep. So hopefully this answers your question from Andrea. Can you delete a section of drawing between 2 times? So
yeah, you can. You can.
I assume you either remove one of the drawing clips or a part and depends on the tool you want to use. So if you want to say this whole selection, you can just press the bin icon and then it will get rid of the.
See, no drawing here. So we can actually use it one more time to delete all strokes that we see on the timeline. You see, there's one thing I did. I locked the audio track. So my attempt to delete those objects will not delete audio, right? Because audio is locked, that's the logic. That's the lock button here. I can lock audio. It will not be affected by my attempt to delete those objects. So you see, now I have audio and those remaining few last strokes.
Right. So yeah, I guess that's if it didn't answer your question, Andrea, please let us know. Okay. So I guess that kind of covers most parts of editing, the basic parts of editing. There are things you can mix and match those things that we've shown you and to create an effect that you want to go for. There are plenty of things you can do because we haven't talked about the recording modes.
Maybe we should.
Yeah.
Maybe we should. It's going to help you a lot if you want to have good results. So let me show you. So I'll do another empty slide. Let's say this one is going to be yellow.
So you want to be thinking about recording modes either when you want to go for a certain effect inside of your video, or after you've done something that didn't go as you wanted. So recording modes are things that you use after you record your first thing, whether it's a audio recording or an animation. Depending on what you want to go for, you want to select appropriate recording mode.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to prepare an object just to make a cool demonstration of those recording modes. So I'll want to have this leave without a background. I'll just remove the background real quick. Okay, I have a leaf. So for now, I'm going just to start record and record it falling. Maybe I shouldn't even use audio. Audio track is locked, so there's no audio recording. I can mute my microphone. It's the same result. So now I see that this little animation that I did is visible on the canvas from this to this moment. And this allows me to illustrate how those recording modes, we call them that way, you see them here, actually work. Because you can mix your recordings adding more and more leaves to the canvas. So for example, I want 2 leaves falling in a different way. I'll use Inspector to duplicate this one. I'll go to Edit, Duplicate. Now I have 2 leaves. And if you remember, I already recorded movement of the first one. So when I play it back, this one moves. But the second one should move as well. So what I can do in order to provide this movement is to scroll to the beginning of the recording. Here was the moment when I added the sleeve. So maybe this leaf, so maybe I should start somewhere here. I'll press record and record move of the second leaf. Now I have both moving, right? And as you see, this little trick is really powerful. You can duplicate your objects, rerun the recording, adding more and more results to your video. Okay, this is quite fun. So you can go on and on, and that's mixed recording for you. Explain Everything will play every time when you record. Explain Everything will play pre-existing recording, but will allow you also to add new elements to it.
Yep, and make sure that if you don't want to record your voice again, to mute your microphone in the interface, so that whenever you do a rerun, you add an animation, your voice doesn't get recorded, so that there's only one voice track. Because that's where that's a tip for you, because sometimes people are wondering why I have so many audio tracks, because they haven't muted their microphone when they were doing the additional takes.
Exactly. It's best to just do one audio take and then record your activity, animation, whatever you want to accomplish. But that's mix mode. What you can do is you can use 2 other modes. That's Overwrite for you. So for example, if I use Overwrite from this moment, let's say there are halfway down to the bottom of the screen, and I will use Overwrite here just to show you what it does. It will say, okay, recording will overwrite existing content from second onwards. All right, this is my new recording. So as you see, I did that, and now this little animation that I provided, stops here when I started my Overwrite recording, but since I unmuted my microphone, there's new elements to it. So that's Overwrite for you. But you can also do something really cool with this third mode, that is Insert mode. Here, I can have Explain Everything expand this portion of the recording and allowing me to add new content to it. So you see how close this movement here and this audio form is. I can actually insert recording in the middle, expanding this gap between both of those. So let me show you that. I'll unmute my microphone, and I will start recording this time in insert mode, and I will try to add this movement one more time, but now instead of moving 1 leaf at the time, I will try to move 3 with my 3 fingers. So here we go. And leaves are falling, right? That's the best I could do with just, limited resources, just 3 fingers. But as you see, now we see that on the timeline, this section is expanded, and I see 1, 2, 3 hand gestures, we call them, movements. And those movements, they are related to how I grab those leaves, 1, 2, 3, and how I move them downwards. So
right. So as you can probably imagine, this is only possible on touchscreen devices. The sort of animation at once. And insert mode is only available on mobile apps, so Chromebooks, iPads, and Android tablets. Web version doesn't feature insert recording mode yet, but it's coming, so stay tuned. Right. So there were some questions. Meredith, I don't think I understand your question. How are you selecting physically? My audio moves when I touch it. which shouldn't happen actually. I have a red line, but I'm not sure how I did it. Where is my lock button hiding if I can't see it? Well, you should be able to see the lock buttons. Not sure really why they wouldn't show up. I've checked both, all three versions of Explain Everything. They should be there.
But don't worry. I mean, if you don't see the locking tools, you basically can do this, have the same result without them. So, for example, if you want to avoid to change the audio track, just mute the microphone when recording, right?
Right. Yeah. It works the same way. Yeah. So there's a question from Chris that I promised to answer, although it's a tricky one. I'm not
you
sure.
love those. Okay. Yeah. What's the question?
Well, the question is, I tend to create slides where I'm interacting with a pre-recorded character, often a puppet. When I play it during a live recording, the audio doesn't work until I'm saving it later as a video. Thoughts of how can I do this for students live? So this sounds like a very particular scenario. I'm sure it's very simple, though. I cannot really, I'm not sure if I understand it correctly. So if you could reach out to us after the webinar, we would love to hear more about it, because
but
maybe
it's the interaction of the recorded puppet, the movement of the recorded
So I'm not sure
puppet.
whether it's a video or whether it's something that was created and Explain Everything and later added as a video. So see, those things can get a little bit tricky when you talk about Explain Everything and possibilities that it has, because, well, you can create a video and Explain Everything and later import it to Explain Everything and play it during recording, which has to be recorded, blah, blah, blah. You know, you can get the picture. That there are very there are so many different scenarios that you can go with. So those questions can be really tricky sometimes.
The way I understand this is that there is a recorded sequence where, let's say, this dog is going here and looking down the cliff, right? And then let's say flipping around and going back. And now we want to live show the recording and interact with it. So that's how I understand it. I might be wrong, but I would play this back. Okay, I would start the recording here.
You have
yes, I would use the next recording without capturing audio. I can.
Let's say this dog is.
He stopped here
and looking
down below, and
the cliff,
then he went back.
And then let's say flipping around.
So I'm actually adding to the recording, but for viewers in real time, it's something that, I'm interacting with the content that was pre-recorded. I'm actually interacting with it. So if that's what you want to accomplish, yes, this should work that way.
Right. Yeah. If you could reach out to us, Chris, that would be great.
It would be great if we can better understand the scenario.
Yeah. Can you show the remove background feature, please, and flipping around?
Okay. Background removal?
Yeah.
Okay. I understand that because at some point I used object from my storage, right, from my camera roll here, and I removed background of this. So it was
right. Yes.
So it was this leaf here. So every time when you add image to the canvas on mobile device, though, because it's not right, yeah. You have option to manipulate this image. So for example, here, when I take this leaf, you see on the top of the screen, it says image editor. And this image editor is quite interesting because it allows you to cut this element like this, or just remove a color. Let's say I want to remove green, or I want to remove white, like this. And by this, if you tap down, top right corner, you end up with an image without background. Otherwise, I would have this image with a background like this. So that's the difference. It's quite powerful. If you want to remove a background that consists of many colors, you can do this.
Right. That's the image editor there. You just can cut out, and I think it's alpha something feature
removal something.
Yeah, it works on iOS currently.
We're not very tactical. We'd like to play, but you
Sure.
get the picture how it works. It's good.
Okay.
Was there a question about the stealth mode and no ninja?
No, not
Oh,
currently.
cool, great, because we changed the controls.
I think
ago?
I liked the example that you've done with leaves. So I thought that maybe it's a great thing to show how you could make the leaves flow through the recording, through the screens, and show camera this way.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Yeah,
because
okay.
as you've seen on the recording previously, with what Bart tried to do here, those leaves were in the confines of the slide. He was, he could just move only within the frame, right? But with the changes that we've introduced, that we've talked about recently on a previous webinar, you can actually make them flow through the frame, so that you can have all sorts of, framing effects or things that get into the frame from outside the frame. So if we want to create, say, let's create a
I'll tell you what, let's take a background and have a camera frame be positioned so the background is exactly what you see. So for example, here that would be
like forest.
Okay, forest. Let's find something that would work. Maybe this one. It's not ideal, but it's good enough. So that's the picture that I want to use as a background. Okay, I'll send it to back. So now, because I added this picture at the beginning of my recording, it will stay there, and the leaves will, fall as I recorded that, as I recorded them. Maybe I should remove this pause here. Maybe we'll do this for better.
Okay, we're getting really deep there.
No. This is the recording that we have, right? I just added a background, and what I want to have in my end recording is this frame here instead of the one that you see on the screen. It's just too light now.
Yep.
There's empty space. It's not working for me. So I want to zoom in with the camera. I don't want any movement of the camera. I just want to reposition the camera on this scene that I already have. Yeah, that's what you would want to
I was thinking that we could just show it from the start, but this works as well. But some people are not aware that you can reposition your camera after you recorded your video, which is great.
Yeah, you can do this. You can do this. So that's why we have this object here. That's this tool here. That's a camera handle. How do you call it?
I usually call it detach camera button, because what it does, it detaches the control of your camera from the zoom. Because we haven't talked about it much, but as you've seen on the previous example that Bart shown, he was using zoom tool to reposition his camera during the recording. He added some camera movement in the previous example. So this is how you control the camera by default, but you can control the camera without using zoom too. So this is what it does.
Okay, so maybe let's first show how camera would work if I do recording and use the zoom tool to just zoom in.
Are folding,
right, like that. So you'll see that Explain Everything actually captured what I did, how I zoomed, how I panned around.
It's kind of choppy when we play it on Zoom, but yeah.
It is. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but no worries.
Yeah. So let me just play it like this. You see the camera movement. That's the camera movement that was added with this tool. This here. That's the zoom tool.
Yep.
So now I'm going to remove this camera movement. To do it one more time, I removed something that I shouldn't remove. Where was
no, it was right, because we've undone it. If you want to undo timeline edits, do it right after you've done some changes. Yeah. If you move around the timeline after you've done something, you've removed something, you won't be able to undo it.
I moved many times. And
if you wanna, oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, well, I removed some of the movement of my leaves, but I can do it one more time, no problem. Okay, that's how they move, right. So now we're back in the situation where there is no camera movement, and I want to use this camera
Detached camera, yeah.
detached camera mode. So here we go. Now you see, we kind of like went back a little bit, but now we see this frame here. That's the camera frame. That's what will be on your recording. So I can actually reposition camera this way by grabbing the border, the edge of this camera frame, and position it, let's say, here. That's what I want camera to be. Okay, I can press recording. I can even control camera by moving it with this handle. So that's the special mode that allows you to control the camera movement as you want it. By moving back and forth on the timeline, I can actually see the movement of the camera as the movement of this frame. I hope it's visible.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
We can see very well. Yeah.
But if I play it back, you know, when playing Explain Everything will show you exactly the camera frame. So let me show you this now. Yeah, that's what camera sees. Previously, using this detached camera mode, I was able to see a larger portion of the screen, including camera frame. And this is actually very handy if you let's say have a lot of content on your canvas and you want to control the movement between, let's say, pages of a large document. Let me show you that.
So don't worry about the frame rate of this of the playback, because the Zoom's frame rate on webinars is kind of low. We'll share the recording with you after we're done editing this one. Oh, you have old icons.
Oh yeah, I love our icons and evolution of the icons. Would you like to see those? Maybe we can use them for practice. Whoops, this one. I hope it's of right resolution for this, what we're going to do here. It's okay. We don't have a new one, but we can add it real quick.
Those are old Explain Everything icons. Some of you may remember them.
Maybe let's use this one. Right? Starting version, whatever.
It's 6.2 right now, I think.
Okay, so that's 6.2. So now on this visual, I can use this detached camera mode, as you see here, to control my camera for the effect that I want to achieve. So for example, I want my video to start here, showing icon number 1. Well, that's a very narrow window, right? This window here. So I'll press record and I will explain as I will when recording. So I'll press record. So now the camera shows icon number 1, then moves to icon number 2, shows icon number 3, and then moves to icon number 4. I'll stop here. As you see on the timeline, there's this one long movement because I was still holding my finger. If I would, you know, release it, it would be like a sequence of those movements. But now you see I moved the camera from one icon to another. So when playing it back, that's the result that you'll see on the movie. Pretty cool, huh?
Yep. It's very exciting. So, yep. So that's how you control the camera. There are multiple things you can do with it. You can position your camera so that it's in a place that you want it to be, and then add stuff to it where, you know, things come in, and we record it in multiple takes. So because we had a recording and then we reposition the camera, you can do the other way around as well. You can position your camera first and then add stuff so that, you know.
So that would be the scenario. So you would position camera first, right? That's the recording. And let's say you have some content that you want to show, and I'll grab this PDF real quick, evolution. Let's say I want to add a page from this document, so it flies into the camera frame, right? That's the effect you were looking for. Okay, so I'll add those as grid. Cool. Now I want those to be here. I'll just separate those pages because they are combined when I add them that way. Okay, so I can independently move those pages. So we're ready to record. So let's say I do the recording. So this frame here is captured now, right? That's the frame. And I want this page to fly in. So here we go, here from the top right corner. And I want this frame to fly out like that. And again, this frame, this page flies in and flies out.
If you feel like you haven't gotten enough cool PowerPoint transitions in your life, that's how you do it.
Exactly. So let's play it back and see the end result. I don't know if this particular example makes sense, but if, as you said, if you like that kind of stuff, you can do it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. This is how you can create a video presentation that includes all the movement that you wanna have in your video. Because sometimes you wanna explain something, by animating it, and Explain Everything has an animation engine that allows you to do it very, very quickly. So it's very snappy. If you want to edit it, we don't have to wait till it renders or something like this. We have it. It's so-called WYSIWYG. What you see, what you get.
The great thing about this is that, you remember last time when we had a webinar on collaboration. So we were doing recording in collaborative mode. So there were other people joining us on the canvas, and someone used Rowan Atkinson's image, and Rowan just peeked at us from the corner of the screen. That was so cool.
Yeah.
You can do things like that.
Yeah, it's very, once you get a grip on those very, very simple to use things, you kind of need to wrap your head around a little bit. But once you get, how it works, only your imagination is the limit. So yeah, hopefully we'll get you there with this webinar. Where do you prompt the camera feature again? On the bottom of the screen, here is the button. Bart's pressing it right now.
Just here.
Yep.
And then you see this handle. You can grab this frame by the handle, as I do it now, or control it with your fingers if you grab the borders of this frame, like that.
Awesome. Right. So I think we can move on to exporting your videos.
Oh, cool.
So we often get questions, how do you export a video? Where does it go? How do I download a video that I've exported? So Explain Everything features two ways of sharing videos. One is you can share it via web video link, which means your project is sent to the cloud, the Explain Everything cloud. It's called Explain Drive. And then it gets turned into a video in the cloud, and you get a link that you can share with other people. I think we're still sharing. No problem.
Okay.
Yep.
Cloud, and from the cloud, it rains with videos, right?
Right. And you can have multiple videos from a single project, depending on. Yes.
Okay.
So we went a little bit too far right now, but yeah. And the other one, the other option to share, which is available only for mobile apps. Well, mobile. It's on Chromebooks and iPads and Android tablets. Is local export, which means that the video is created on your device. So we can show you how it looks when you go when you do it both ways with the current video that we have.
Okay. So which one? Actually, we have 8 recordings.
I think we can share the whole thing. That's going to be, because we still want to do it, right? Because right now we can show the difference, what happens when you send it to the cloud, and what happens when you try to convert it to a video on your device. Sorry.
Okay.
So let's try to create it as a web video link, as we did on the beginning. So right now we have 8 slides. So each slide has its own recording. That's that thing to remember.
True.
In Explain Everything, you can think of slides as scenes, right? So each slide is a separate scene, and it has its own recording. So if you remove a slide, it will, well, remove the recording that's within the slide. So, right, I hope that's
well,
that's not confusing.
You can clear the scene, clear the recording out by, selecting it here, and you can remove recording. Let's say to record it again. So you want the contents, you don't want a recording. You can do this by using this button. So those scenes are actually handy if you're doing a long material, long lecture on something that you want to separate into scenes. It's just easier to manipulate your content when you do a lot of edits.
Right. So when you have like a presentation imported to Explain Everything, and they are in a one after another, if you try to go back between slides while recording, it will add to that particular scene, and it will not create a continuous recording. We've explained that on it's explained in one of the Help Center articles we have. That's a question that people ask quite often. But let's just focus on the simple stuff right now. So
the simplest thing to work on complex documents and complex videos would be, instead of adding them as a grid, that's I guess the default mode, right?
Yes.
You add pages of your documents of any kind as a grid to a single slide. Instead, you can choose separate slides here when you add those documents, and this will actually extend your presentation, adding new slides. And I was on the first one, so I added second, third, fourth, and fifth here, and those are 4 pages that I added to this project of mine.
Right.
And by this, you can go slide by slide and add your recording to those slides. I guess it would be the easiest thing to do if you work with slides.
We've covered that in one of our previous videos, which is called Turn Your Static Presentation into a Video. It's one of our most popular videos of Explain Everything. So you can see how it's done in that video if you want to go through it. So let's export our video. So let's say we want to share all those recordings since we said we're gonna do so.
But slide number 2 does not have a recording. What happens when we share it as a movie?
Well, I'm glad that you asked. If you export it, because we want to show 2 ways. If you export it to Explain Drive, to Explain Everything Cloud, you will get a 5 seconds of an empty recording. So it will be visible in your recording.
Of the still picture, right?
Of a still picture, yeah. So you'll see that once we share it. So let's try and share it as a web video link again.
Okay, so independently on which slide I am, I'll just press export. That's the top right. Just here, you see those options. I'll choose first one, create web video link.
Right. So now, as we've mentioned before, this whole packet, this whole project is sent to Explain Drive, and now it's turned into video as we talk.
Yeah.
So it's the progress bar, it's the uploading part. So now the project is sent to Explain Drive. And once it completes, it's gonna start processing. So it's gonna take a while. Not a very long time, but it depends on the contents of your video.
So those are all 8 slides with a lot of recordings, right?
Yeah, with all the examples. We're gonna share them with you on the chat. So you will be able to see them. So Bart is gonna share the video with me as he did previously.
I'll do it right now.
You'll all get to know my email. So feel free to ask questions.
Here we go. So I shared this link with you. It's actually an email with invitation to see the video. So if you send video that way, it's ready for the person to be received. You can add some content to it, but it looks just nice and shows I guess it shows the preview.
Oh,
like the
I must
thumbnail.
admit that the link to the video looks really odd. Could you please share it again?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So that's how you do create web video link.
Oh no, you could share the just the link. But yeah, let's cancel that one.
Yeah.
So so this is a tricky one. Yeah, you can cancel. Yeah.
Okay.
So now that we've created the video, where is our video? Well, we've shared the video. Where is it?
It's in the cloud.
Yeah, it's in the cloud. So where do we find our video?
So I would have to leave this project.
So this project is a local project on our device. So just for those who are on the web version of Explain Everything, all your projects, all web version projects are always cloud projects. So that's something that to be aware of. But in the apps and in Android, Chromebook, and iPad apps, you are able to access to have two different kinds of projects: local ones and cloud ones. We haven't covered that. We haven't covered that today, but we've covered that on previous webinars. And if you want to learn more about the difference, there's an article on our help center. We'll be happy to share it with you. But
the difference is that you have in top right corner of the thumbnail, you have this cloud, right? So you know which project is stored locally.
But this is a recent one, right? So you know that this is a cloud project.
Okay, but I can check in library, where I have all my projects. There's a lot of projects that I have here, and yeah, here you see better explainer videos. That's the slide that I use when leaving project. That's why it's visible as a thumbnail of this project, and there's no cloud icon. That means that's the local project you have on your device.
Right, so that's not where the video is.
You won't find it there. You can reopen this and export again, but yeah, where to look for videos.
Yep, since it's in the Explain Drive, you should probably find the Drive folder, which is on the top.
It's just here, right?
Yep.
So if I go there, you'll see contents of my Drive, and you see that there are some elements, some presentations. Well, all presentations will have this cloud icon here. And the first one, Better Explainer Videos, is actually a cloud version of the project that I use to export video. And why is it a cloud project?
Because we've created a web video link.
Well, we create web video link out of your project in the cloud. That means both project and the video is in the cloud.
Yeah, you see so, folks, bear with us, please bear with us. We're gonna simplify it.
It makes a lot of sense if you think about it.
We're gonna simplify it one day, don't worry. We know that it needs some improvements, but yeah, here's how you can find it right now. But
this is important because, you know, what happens when you share the video is that the project is taken to the cloud and video is rendered automatically for you. So you can both use this cloud version of the project. You can leave it there as a storage, let's say a backup version, but there's also a video that is rendered for you in the cloud. Why is it important? Because some lectures might be really, really long, and it takes a long time to render them on the device. There's actually something
we'll show it. We'll show it. Yeah, because we're nearing the end of the webinar, so that's one thing. But well, let's first, because we haven't shown where is the web video.
Sorry. Okay, so back here, and this automatically generated link is just here, web video links.
So right now, yeah,
that's the link. So when I press it, you see, I think it's already generated. It will play in a moment. Yes, it plays. There's.
Oh, could you share it with me again? You can send it via AirDrop to me, so I can share it on the.
Sure. Here you go.
Awesome, thank you.
No problem. So now you see, I can play this video, and as we mentioned, what Explain Everything did is that recordings of each and every slide they are now sections of this resulting video. So when I play it, there was this cool animation I had on the first one, still slide number 2, as
with
you see.
No recording.
Where,
then there was this attempt to
going here and looking down
here,
the cliff, right?
Out of this.
And then let's say flipping around and going back.
There's this section where we explored camera movement and animation with mixed recording, then camera movement again, but a different type where we move between icons. So you see all of those are stitched together, and it's a total of 3 minutes long clip that we have.
From all the recordings we did, yeah. So now here's how you can, here's the second way of rendering a video on mobile apps in Explain Everything. So
I'll reopen the project.
We reopen the local project. So that's the copy of the project we've created on our device.
Yep.
And now we can select again the share icon.
Okay, all 8 slides are here.
Yep.
I'll press share. Instead of using this first one, you want me to use that one?
Yeah, the export option.
Okay. And here we have some options. We can render a video, or send it as a document, or even a project. If you want someone else to work on the project and you just want to share a file, you can do that. But here, let's use video. And straight to YouTube.
So here are the options where you want to send it. If you want to save it in your cloud, if you want to send it to YouTube directly, here's where you can do it. Yeah.
But let's for now just save video, right? I'll save it locally. And here, my device will start rendering process of this video.
Right. So we'll have to wait. So that's the advantage of using the cloud. We could, while it was processing in the cloud, we were able to do anything on our iPad while it's rendered in the cloud. But right now we need to wait till it renders because, well, for some of you who've already had some experience with video editing tools, you know how much time rendering takes. It takes a long time. So this is where actually rendering happens in Explain Everything. It doesn't happen while you edit the stuff on your timeline. It happens when you press export and then when it renders. So is this so the question from Sandra, is this an EE Cloud that comes with your subscription? Yes.
Correct.
Yes. That's how it works.
It does more than that, but it's one of the crucial components, especially for those that like to render long videos. There's no waiting time. It renders really quick, and you have this backup copy of your project if you like to use cloud for that.
Right. So there's one more thing that we haven't talked about yet, which is if you send it to the cloud, but you want a file that you want to post somewhere else. So say, because right now the effect of what we're doing right now, we're gonna get a MP4 file, right? Which we can send to YouTube. We can save it photos. We can do whatever we want with the file.
Yes.
With Explain Everything Drive, we can do the same thing. You can access the file directly. It's not only a streaming video that we've shared with you. You can also download the video from the web video link. So that's what we want to show you.
Okay. So from within the app or from outside?
I think from within the app is fine.
Okay. So I'll quit this project
because
now.
it works exactly the same.
So I'll go back to my drive. Here's this.
You already in my drive, yeah.
Yeah, so that's web video link here. That's the video here.
So now when you press download, I think it will download the project, sorry.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm sorry. It's on the web only. Yeah, my bad, my bad. Yeah.
So what you would need to do is to take this link.
Yep, right, and open it in the...
I can open it from here, I think, but let's use the browser here. I'll put the code so anyone without Explain Everything can see it that way, and I can download project or video. Here's how you can download video. You press here, and it will allow you to download MP4, right? So that's how you can download MP4 from the cloud.
Right. Yes, exactly. That's how it works. So yeah, that's on our list of simplifying things. But yeah, it's how it works currently, and it's possible. So you can have access to the actual MP4 file without going around and editing the HTML underneath that, or just using some other service to download. Sandra asks, how about importing a long video? Would you like to import it to a project, or would you like to import a video?
Well, you can use video in your video because I just downloaded this MP4. Maybe I can answer that using this MP4, and this is going to be crazy, but it's a late hour here, so let's do crazy.
Yeah, since we need to wrap up really, so we'll go a little bit crazy here.
So a little bit, right? But at least you'll have a confirmation that we're a bit.
So as you've seen, Bart just downloaded a MP4 file.
Not yet. I'm just changing background colors.
But you've downloaded it to your.
Yeah, so I saved this MP4 file that was generated by our cloud, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use it to do another clip.
Yeah.
Right. So your question was about importing. I can take this video. Let me find it first. The videos. I don't see it here.
I think it's the green leaf.
It's here, right? Okay. I saved this in a different place. Sorry, it's here. So I will open it.
You can do the drag and drop thing.
All right. Yeah, I can do this as drag and drop. So I'll explain everything, put it to the side. That's the slide. I will take this video and drop it to explain everything. Okay, so now I use this 3-minute long video that we generated in explain everything. So the magic is that I can now explain with explain everything video made with explain everything, insert it into explain everything. so it's actually funny thing because you can start recording, explain the process. I'm using a video now, and now I'm going to play it back. So I'm playing back video, and I'm using a laser pointer to point on leaves that are falling, and then perhaps I can use this arrow to point, oh look, here's a very old version of our icon. And look, here's a new version of our icon. And I like this one the most, for example. I'll press stop. This is just a demonstration. That shows you that you can actually explain things that are played in this video. The video is on the canvas. I play the video, and I use different tools like that was a laser pointer here. You can see it on the bottom in the timeline. That was an object, and I use a simple arrow to point on this icon. This is a video, right? So I'm manipulating video, and I'm adding content to the canvas, like here, I'm annotating video to explain myself. And this is something what you can do. You can take video content, put it to the canvas, and use during your explanation. That was insane.
Yeah.
But I hope it's helpful because sometimes media that you want to use will be of this kind, right?
Sandra says, gosh, your mind moves fast, Bart.
sorry.
Yeah, that's after working on explain everything for 10 years, well, almost 10 years, right? It's like, yeah, that's how efficient you can get.
That's how it happens.
Yeah.
But you don't need 10 years to do similar things. I believe, putting some practice to it, following those suggestions, I believe you can build great explainer videos. And this is what we hope. We hope that with a bit of practice, you can do the content that is easy, fast to create, and visually interesting and appealing for your students. So if you would have more questions related to explainer videos, we're happy to put on another webinar.
We'll definitely go into in detail on some of those scenarios.
There are recordings of the previous webinars that we did on this topic on YouTube. So you're invited to check for suggestions there. Every time we try to show something different, but this is so versatile that there are many ways you can build your videos. So check our YouTube channel, and soon we're going to publish an interesting articles on scientifically proven ways to improve your explainer videos. This is something that follows actually this article that was published a few months ago, actually, with a good research that indicates what to do and what not to do on explainer videos. So we kind of like illustrated that with our tool. So it's coming up. If you're on our newsletter, you'll receive notification about this, and we hope you'll like this.
Yeah, and any other future webinars, feel free to sign up for more. We'll have one more upcoming next week about collaboration.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in collaborating and explain everything, feel free to join. We'll send you a notification about this via our newsletter. And you can always see the previous webinars on explaineverything.com/webinars. We'll send you those links. We'll send you the recording. We're very happy that you've joined in today. And we hope that now you'll be better equipped to do exactly what you want and explain everything. So thank you very much for coming, for joining. And
we hope to see you next time.
Yep.
That is in a week if you can.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And see you soon, hopefully.
Thanks. Bye.